Next up on our agenda is our member sharing, member experience sharing, and we have two of our two members from Dalhousie Library, as Dalhousie University Libraries, and they will be speaking about accessible and discoverable videos, cleaning house before we move to YouTube. Our two speakers today are Jackie Phinney and Lindsay McNiff. Jackie is an instruction and liaison librarian for Dal University Libraries, and she's located at the Dal Medicine New Brunswick campus in St. John, New Brunswick, and she provides library support for the faculty, staff, and students of Dalhousie Medicine at the distributed campuses, and is a strong advocate for cross-institutional collaborations in support of teaching and research. Lindsay McNiff is a learning and instruction librarian at Dalhousie Libraries. She is interested in information literacy instruction and teaching and learning in higher education. So your presentation is up, so please start your presentation. Thank you very much, Jackie and Lindsay.
Thank you, Cynthia. And Lindsay, are you there as well?
Yes, I am. I'll start my video.
Excellent. So thank you very much for having us. We're very excited to be here. So as Cynthia said, we are with Dalhousie University, and we're working on a very exciting project that we just wanted to come and introduce to you all today and give you a bit of background on what we're working on and where we're going.
Okay, so just to give you a little background, Dal Libraries have close to 100 instructional videos, and basically we keep those on an index page, so a page on our website that just has a full list of these tutorials, close to 100, lots of them on different topics ranging from proximity searching to how to use RefWorks to welcome to the libraries, things like that. They're kind of all over the place, and they have been sort of in my domain of work since I started working here in 2012. I started as a sabbatical relief, and one of my first kind of things that I took ownership of was the tutorials. So I've been with them for a long time. And anyway, one of the things that's always been a problem is the lack of shareability. So because they're on the server, we don't have a way to easily share them on social media or even to embed them in places like Brightspace. Or LibGuides. So shareability and also accessibility. When they were created, we weren't thinking about a lot of accessibility issues. Content wasn't made with diverse users' needs in mind. So what we started to do was look at the tutorials with these two main questions. Are Dalhousie Library online tutorials reaching our users, but also are they reaching and supporting as many users as possible?
So in kind of looking at the issue we were having, I came aboard the project with Lindsay, and we examined YouTube as a possible platform, as a place to house the videos, and we liked that it was a social media platform, so that addressed the shareability issue. But particularly with the accessibility issues, we liked that it provided the opportunity for closed captioning. We liked that YouTube would give you a chance to use the comment section to place links instead of having hyperlinks embedded in videos, which was not ideal. It also worked with screen readers, and it also allowed you to upload a transcript. So those things appealed to us. And those features of YouTube for issues related to accessibility have appealed to other universities, and we did find in the literature that other people were doing a switch to YouTube for very similar reasons as what we were looking at. And so we came to a decision after consulting amongst ourselves and with greater colleagues at Dalhousie that it was decided that we would then clean up our videos and get them ready to migrate over to YouTube.
Okay, so we, during our planning, we came across some great resources by Joanne Aud, and Joanne Aud is a librarian. I think she's based out of Waterloo, and she does a lot of work with accessibility. And she had written a few very good articles, one of which had essentially a checklist of things to look for if you want to determine whether each individual tutorial is accessible. So what we have on the slide here is not the entire checklist, it's just a few things. Some of them we were already doing, so tutorials should be captioned. I think that's something that we all know by now. And our tutorials on the server had been captioned. We've been using Camtasia, and many of them were captioned, particularly the most highly watched ones. So we were doing that, but we hadn't been very good about multiple formats. So we didn't have available transcripts for the videos, for example, and that's something that you should think about. Fonts should be large and clear, high contrast. The content needs to be structured easily. Viewers should not need a mouse. And then one that we really stumbled about because we hadn't really been thinking this way is that the audio and narration should be descriptive. So this meant that we had videos that would say things like, click the button that you see here, or something like that, or this is what a PICO question looks like, and without actually describing what's on the screen. And that's very problematic for users that are trying to experience the video simply by audio. So this was very interesting for us to revisit our videos and look at them. So, and as it says on the slide, we saw this as an opportunity to update the content for many of our older videos and determine if there were any that we really didn't need based on usage and out of datedness and that kind of thing. So when we established our checklist, and we did use Aud's work to create that checklist, we checked a bunch of our videos against them. I think we're at about 45 now that we've checked. And of course, we've realized that there's substantial updates that will need to happen because we simply were not designing in a way that was accessible prior to this. So what this has resulted in is we've created a new standard template for transcripts, and the template is based on a document that I found about creating accessible Word documents, so making sure that you have headings and things like that, and then so when we save it to a PDF, the PDF is also accessible. We are updating screen captures whenever we need to, removing hyperlinks. Hyperlinks will not work on, or Camtasia hyperlinks anyway, won't work on YouTube. So we've had to work around that, and re-record any video or narration that needs to be re-recorded because it said something previously that was too vague. So once each video is ready to go on YouTube, and we're sort of uploading them as we get them finished, we are uploading the transcript and putting it into the description. So that it has involved putting the transcript on the server so that it lives on the server and it has a link, and then putting that link right into the YouTube description. We ensure that the captions are included. Fortunately, YouTube works really nicely with Camtasia captions. So I've heard kind of mixed reviews about YouTube captioning features and how good they are. But if you create your captions in Camtasia and then upload the SRT file, I think it's called, to YouTube, it works very nicely. And then any suggested links, like links to the library website, links to the subject liaisons, etc., we're putting all of those into the description. And a couple of other things not on this slide that I wanted to mention is we're also adding Creative Commons licenses to all of our videos and disabling comments as well.
So, excuse me, our progress to date, this project is rather large, and so we're kind of trucking through. At this point, we have completed evaluation checklists for the top 45 videos after they were ranked by popularity and our usage statistics. And then as of now, 13 videos have been updated if necessary and moved over to YouTube. Some of those updates were minor and some of them have been more substantial. And so some issues that we have found, Lindsay mentioned a couple a few moments ago, embedded hyperlinks, those had to all be taken out, and then that information was then added to the comment section of the YouTube video for further clicking. The non-descriptive language, so we did have to be very careful to comb through for examples of, you know, click here versus click the checkbox beside the date filter. So we could be very specific about what we want the user to actually be clicking. Call-outs that screen reading software can't detect. So if we had a graphic in our video that had a little thought bubble, which would indicate something that the viewer would then need to know, we have to make sure to take that thought bubble content and translate it and put it back into the script so that it's actually said out loud. And then jargon that needed to be replaced with just more simple language, and also videos that are too long. And those are some of the main things that we have encountered so far. And so for some next steps, we're going to continue updating the most popular videos first with the transcript and the video edits. And as we go, again, we'll continue migrating them over to YouTube. We'll then be redirecting the URLs for the videos, and we're planning to create a library subject guide that will store the videos, thereby allowing us to remove them from our server. And then as we go, we will be monitoring our analytics in YouTube because we're very interested in, again, that shareability piece to see how users are interacting with our videos in terms of statistics, the location they're viewing them from, peak viewing times, and other features that we can kind of monitor through YouTube. And that's all from us today. Are there any questions?
Any questions, anybody? Any questions online? So you've done, I do have one question.
Great.
So you've got 13 up now. How long did it take you to process those 13?
We started this project in the spring, and so it's taken us the summer to get going on that. And also part of that too is getting a workflow down. But we have had some help from our library interns at Dalhousie. They've been wonderful in giving us a hand. So it's been a bit of a process so far.
Would you be open to sharing those workflows with the membership? So
sure.
Reinventing the wheel?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We could share a document for kind of the process, the steps that we're going through, for sure. Yep.
Thanks. That would be great. So we have one question online here from Corinne.
Have you any feedback from the updated videos? No, we have not. We haven't actually, at this point in the project, we're not really publicizing that they're also found on YouTube at this point. And I can't comment on the analytics at this point because I haven't taken a peek at them because we're still working through the nuts and bolts. But I'd be interested to know how that turns out. Maybe perhaps in a year from now we could update on how that piece of it is going. We have another one. We heard that distance students located in China have difficulty accessing YouTube. Any concerns about access internationally? That is a great question. It's not something that we have actually considered.
No, we were considering people in rural areas for sure. We had that discussion, but no, we hadn't actually.
What we did do when we were considering it is we did look to hospital networks because we knew that there could be some issues there with access. But the consensus with that was that because YouTube now has a lot of educational content, which is what we are looking to contribute, that YouTube would be accessible in hospitals. But that is a really great question that we hadn't considered.
What's the name of the captioning software that you're using?
The name of the captioning software, is that the Camtasia?
It's right in Camtasia, yeah. We use Camtasia 9, but Camtasia 8 would work as well.
Any other questions from the room or online? Well, thank you both, Lindsay and Jackie, for this excellent presentation.
Thank you.
We will have questions, and thank you very much for agreeing to share your workflow, because that will be very helpful to everybody who attended.
Great, thanks.
Thanks.